want to have, a guy that could just close the game out. I mean, that's the only thing. But when you talk about this win, man, I thought it would be a close game. You know what I mean? I mean, it played out exactly how I thought it would play out because Lions, they're the better team. I mean, to be honest with you, they're better than the Vikings. You know what I'm saying? The Vikings defense carried them, and rightfully so. I mean, that's a good football team, and we played them the last game of the season. You know what I mean? Well, at Ford Field, I mean, it may be for the division. You know what I mean? Or it may be seeding. You know what I mean? Because I think both of these teams gonna make the playoffs. It's obvious we gonna make it, but the Vikings, I mean, they one of the top 3, 4 teams in the NFC. I mean, still, even by losing the game. You know what I mean? I don't think that they'll. I think they more real than Chicago. If I had to place them and seed them or rank them in our division, I think what they have is more sustainable than the Bears. You know what I'm saying? I think the Bears done found a nice little pocket in their schedule. They didn't play Tennessee. They played Jacksonville. You know what I mean? I don't think neither one of those teams are very good. And we're going to get to that part of our schedule too. And I think the Bears taking advantage of it. But the Vikings, man, they got a big game against the Rams this week. And we're going to see if that Chris Long hangover continues because they got to remember he said every team the Lions play, they're
Yeah, he
going to
did.
lose the streak, bro, because they just broken down after we play them. So they're going to play Thursday night against the Rams, which is going to be very entertaining, very, a game that we're going to look into. But, we're going to talk about the game from yesterday. That's why we're here tonight, you
Yeah.
know, and it's just,
Um,
I'll let you go ahead since I was
no, I just
talking.
wanted to piggyback off what you was just saying. I do think that this team, the closer doesn't always have. Oh man, it just cut me off like that. Can y'all still hear me?
I
Can
can
you
hear
still
you.
hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I fixed this. I do believe that the closer doesn't always have to be an edge rusher. And I think typically in football, we believe that, okay, the edge rusher has to be the closer to the game, not so
Hmm.
much the defensive tackle. And the defensive tackle is actually the guy who has the shorter distance to the quarterback up the middle of the line of scrimmage. But when you're getting takeaways, when you got guys like Kirby Joseph and you got Brian Branch, the guy I call Baby Dawkins out there making
Hmm.
plays every single week, left and right, whether it's a tackle, it's an interception, it's a
Yeah.
strip. Like he's out there doing his thing out there. And you got linebackers like Anzalone. Anzalone's been a rock. And I know we
Hmm.
talked a lot of mess about him when we first got him a few years ago at the beginning of the rebuild, but this is a dude who has completely outperformed his contract.
Hmm.
And I don't
Yeah.
think you and I or anybody else really envisioned that when he got here 3 years later, this was what we were gonna have.
Yeah. He's
And
been
like we have
amazing,
a
man.
yeah, we have a rock
Mhm.
solid linebacker in the middle of our defense, something we haven't had in a very long time. Like we've hit a lot of home runs. We've hit a lot of home runs, man, with this team. And I just think that what we saw yesterday, I'm not surprised by it. You're not surprised by it. I actually had 27-17 Lions at one point in time in the game. It was actually 28-17. And
Yeah.
I feel like the blitzing in the second half is kind of what gave them the big plays. They got the Ivan Pace fumble return for a touchdown.
Yeah.
They got the touchdown. I called it a cheap touchdown. To not Jordan Jefferson, but
Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson in the corner end zone of that fade route where Darnold snapped the ball and just stood. He stared at the dude completely the entire
Yeah.
play down, made the throw. They scored, so it's all good, said and done. But yeah, I'm very, very proud of this team, though, man. Very, very. You and
Hmm.
I talked about how we're kind of like in some instances we're more comfortable with this team on the road
Hmm.
than we are at home,
Yep.
and they showing us why for real now.
Yeah. Yep. And the NFL is changing, man. You know, uh, you don't necessarily have to have, a potent offense and your quarterback is throwing for 400 and 350, and you could be very much potent like they are and have your QB go, for 225 and two touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? That's the standard right now. The league it changes from every 5 to 6 years, I think. You know what I'm saying? 7 years where, remember it was greatest show on turf. Remember it was uh defense where, in the Ravens era, the Ray Lewis's and the Giants when they won their Super Bowls, and it was mostly defense. Now, of course, defense is a part of it, but I do think that you got to have a dynamic offense, not necessarily score 40, which the Lions have been doing. They didn't do it, yesterday, but they have been on a 40-point streak. But, it's a combination of both. You got to be well balanced. And I think a lot of times what the Lions are doing and what the Lions bring to the table, I think a lot of, is new. You know what I mean? You don't have a team that has both. It's very seldom that you have a team that can do both. You know what I mean? And I think the Lions are one of the few teams that can. We mentioned the Chiefs, you know, and they got their issues too on offense. But right now, I mean, the Chiefs are 6-0, but I think the Lions are better than the Chiefs right now. I mean, I'm not just saying it as a homer. I believe that. I think that if the Lions lined up and played the Chiefs right now, that we would beat them, regardless. If give them their receiver, whoever put a receiver, give them their best receiver that you can give them. I think the Lions would beat that team, man. I really do. I think two teams that pose some issues, and I think I heard the guy on the radio said that I think Baltimore would cause some issues just because of mobile quarterback, because that's one thing the Lions really hasn't had a chance to really face one this year, other than like Geno Smith, who kind of is a threat to run a little bit, but Kyler Murray, they kind of bottled him up pretty good, but I don't take Kyler Murray seriously as being like a real threat to run, and hurt you like that. And the Packers, I just like I said, I still believe it's going to be a good measure. I mean, we showed that we are the best team in the NFC, maybe the best team in football, right? But I think that the Packers game, that's going to pose a different something that we may need. We may need that lockdown defensive end. You know what I mean? Aiden Hutchinson. I think we haven't missed them yet. It's been 1.5 games and all as well, in Lions land about that situation. But, it's gonna come a time. I mean, I just want everybody just to be, just it's every game's not gonna be like it was yesterday. You know what I'm saying? What I mean is where you get away with really not having a lot of pressure on the edge, where, like you said, you can have it, you know, up the middle. DJ Reader was fantastic. I thought Pascal played great. He got banged up a couple times.
Yeah.
Josh Pascal was great. Jack Campbell was great again. Malcolm Rodriguez. I mean, man, these guys. Aaron Glenn, can we just give Aaron Glenn a standing ovation, man? I mean, how many times? I remember they was calling for this man's job, man. Not last year so much. Remember Walt did 9-8 season. They was pretty much
Yeah.
saying, Aaron Glenn is not the guy. He's a bum. Blah blah blah. This that. Dude, and even Campbell even said as much today in the press conference. He said that listen, he said Aaron Glenn has done everything that you can do to maximize the talent of this team, man. You know what I'm saying, on the defensive side of the ball. So very I ain't got no complaints about the game. Jameer Gibbs, my guy, just totally just put Bynum, I think it was, in a straight jacket. You know what I'm saying? That move was nasty. Well, I mean, and then Gibbs even slowed down when he got to the 5 yard line. Like, dude, this is too easy. That type of thing. Offensive line, I couldn't be more prouder. Our Sika was kind of shaky, man. It was looking kind of bleak in the first quarter. He had a couple false starts, a couple holding calls, and it was like, okay, and that's to be expected because he's not, he hasn't been in there this year. But I thought the offensive line got it together. Jared Goff, showed his veteran leadership. I thought Goff played really well, in a hostile environment, down 10 points, and he kept his poise. And Dan Campbell said that too. He said that listen, Jerry, say what you want to. Jared Goff kept kept us afloat, man. You know what I'm saying? That ball he threw to St. Brown down the middle of the field was perfect. You know what I'm saying? That was an amazing ball he threw under pressure. He got nailed on that play too. You know what I'm saying? They was full out blitz, so there's a lot of good things that happen. A lot of good things that happen. And I'm gonna say this before I let you take it away this time. Now Terry Arnold was better. That play that Justin Jefferson caught, not the touchdown, but Wall, he threw that, he threw, I'm sorry, he caught that ball. Terry Arnold was in perfect position, and Justin Jefferson caught that ball. That was probably the best catch I've seen this year. Justin Jefferson, go back and look at it, man. It was around the 40, 50-yard line, something like that, and he caught that bad boy, toe tapped it. Terry Arnold did all he could, and it was just Justin Jefferson just showed why he's the best receiver in the league,
Yeah.
pretty much. So, you know.
I see Lauren back with us. Yeah, I agree with this. You know, like he said, some were calling for AG's job last year, ignoring injuries at DB. The fact is, man, the people who were not AG people, who didn't want him as the defensive coordinator, period, from the beginning, they ignored all the deficiencies that he had and just had the attitude of, we don't care, just make it happen. You know, everything, all of the assets that were poured into the offense, they
Mm-hmm.
started early, and I get it. If you're going to start a rebuild, you're starting with the quarterback that you feel is going to be your guy moving forward, which turned out to be Jared Goff. You want to make
Yeah.
sure he has a left tackle, he has a right tackle, he has a running game behind him, he got some weapons in the wide receiver room. Because people forget what this wide receiver room looked like year one, man. We talking
Yeah.
about Tyrell Williams and Breshad Perryman and who else, man? Just throw out any random name. We probably had them at some point in time, man, at
Oh
wide
boy.
receiver. And to look at what this roster is now
Yeah.
compared to what it was when they first took off, man. And I just think that it's to go back to what I was initially saying though before I had lost reception for a second. I just think that the closer doesn't have to always be the edge rusher. The closer could be the safety. The closer could be a corner. It could be on any given Sunday. It could be Ennis Rakestraw. It could be Terry Arnold with a big play. It could be Brian Branch with two or three big plays. It could be Kirby Joseph. I think that's kind of the defense we have now, similar to that New Orleans Saints team that won the Super Bowl the year they won it. Now our defense, it appears that our defense is more sturdier and more consistent than that defense was, but that defense had a lot of takeaways that year that they
Yeah.
ended up winning it. They
Yeah.
didn't do everything by the book. They gave up a bunch of rushing yards. They were giving up a bunch of passing yards, but they were getting a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of timely takeaways. So,
Yeah.
like I said, I just want fans to understand too, pressure can come up the middle. And like I said, you agree. Reader played very well yesterday. I felt Pascal. People were kind of like riding Pascal yesterday. I think Pascal is good for what he is.
Yeah. He
And we
undersized,
know
but he
exactly
battled.
he's a rotational defensive guy who can
Mhm.
play some one. He ain't gonna play no damn one. Let me take that out of there. But he can play some three. He can play some four. You can stand him up a little bit on at five tech outside. You can do some different things from him depending on what the matchups are for him. I just this idea that we have to replace a big name player with another big name player. That doesn't have to be the case. I think what this team really is doing is they're going to go out and get somebody within the next 2 or 3 weeks. And they're going to pair that guy with Isaiah Thomas. They hoping Isaiah Thomas is good enough to make the next roster from the practice squad. And then
Well,
they're going to get other guys healthy.
yeah.
And then that's what they're going to ride into the second half of the season with. So I think this whole Max Crosby thing, the Myles Garrett thing, fans always start clamoring for these names that aren't even on the trade block. Like you can't just go pick up a phone and call another team and say, we want your best player right now. Like that's not the way it works, man. And I think this team is just fine. Fans have to also take into account the matchups we have. You can make the argument Josh Allen and Jordan Love are the best quarterbacks we play the rest of the season. I mean, of
Mm-hmm.
course, we got CJ Stroud too.
Yeah.
Stroud is a rookie, but at the end of the day, and
Second year
Houston
guy.
got
Yeah.
their own. Yeah, Houston got
Yeah.
their own set of issues too. And I know
Yeah.
you were talking about the Vikings making the playoffs. I got a feeling three ain't getting in this division. And if I'm a bet on Minnesota or Green Bay, I'm more prone to bet on Green Bay because just like me and you, most of these people out here know the quarterback position is the most important position. Is
Yeah,
Jordan Love better than Sam Darnold?
of course,
Yes.
of course.
I'm pretty sure everyone out there, as Lions fans, we being unbiased, talking about Green Bay and Minnesota, Jordan Love has game-changing ability. Sam Darnold, and I don't want to come across like I'm trashing Sam Darnold, but I think his career speaks for itself. Top 5 pick, went to the New York Jets. Now you can take that for what it is. He went to the Jets. Maybe that's what officially ruined him from the very beginning. We don't know. He was a backup in Carolina. The year he went to Carolina, I believe they started 4-1 that year. And then he
Yeah,
just fell apart, started turning the ball over, got benched. He backed up in San Francisco for a second. And now, he's played early. He played well early because he's a veteran. But I just don't. There were like really Viking fans in the comment section of this last video we did that were talking about like he was on the same level as Goff. Like, if you want to disrespect Goff because he doesn't have the big flashy arm, he's not mobile as hell, he's not going to break a 40, 50-yard run, I get that. He doesn't throw the prettiest ball, I get that. But this idea that people watch him perform well and still try to lump these below average quarterbacks in the same category with him, putting Darnold in the same category with Goff is disrespectful. Because you're talking about a career backup for the most part that has accomplished nothing, that has not even sniffed the playoffs with no team he's been with. Not as a player,
yeah,
not as a contributor. And it's just crazy that you look at the matchups, and that's why I want to get into this now, and I want to get your opinion on this. If we go back to yesterday, man, this thing is running slow tonight. Slow tonight. We can go back over the stats, man. Like I said, get back into it one more time. It's not flashy at all. He's not out there throwing for 450. J-Mo ain't catching 70-yard bombs. None of that's going on. This man is playing
uh,
quarterback at a very high level, though. Very high
yeah,
level.
yeah. Of course.
You talking about,
Yeah,
was it? He's throwing, was it? He hasn't even thrown 10 incompletions in his last 3 starts, if I'm
yeah,
not mistaken.
because it was
Yesterday, 22 for 25, 280. 2
yeah, it was
touchdowns,
18
no
for
picks.
25. Yeah, because it was
Yeah.
18 for 25, I think, the previous game, and then wasn't it 22 for 25 against the Seahawks, if I'm not mistaken? Yeah, so he's played good ball, man. Then he had the 18 for 18 game. I'm sorry, 18 for 18 game was against the Seahawks. And then I
Yeah.
think it was 18 for 25, and then like you said, 22 for 25. So he's been elite, man. You know what I'm saying? And I think the early MVP talk has been legit. I mean, it's been warranted. I mean, he deserves all the, right now. And I'm glad for Jared Goff because you got people that's not afraid to back him now. Because remember, it was like you said, it was just so easy for everybody to say, Goff is not better than Matthew Stafford, or he doesn't have the arm talent, or he's not, he can't throw the balls in those tight windows. He can't make the big throws like Matt Stafford did. Well, all Jared Goff has done is win, man. Since that 3-13-1 season, Goff's been the catalyst, from the 9-8 last game against Green Bay, pretty much ended Aaron Rodgers' era in Green Bay. You know what I'm saying? Led the Lions the following season to a division championship, and then NFC championship berth, and then all he's did right now is got us to a 5-1 record. You know what I'm saying? So right now, I mean, Jared Goff, rightfully so, he should be the talk. You know what I mean, of early MVP. Let's see if he sustained it. And I don't think, to be honest with you, not that he this great gunslinger or anything like that. I do think he's got a couple 300 games in him. I think he does. You know what I mean? I'm not
Oh,
saying,
yeah. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Goff, he hasn't
If
even
things
had that
get
game yet.
clicking, he can definitely deal out there. He was dealing out there yesterday.
Yeah.
We had
Yep.
six
Because you don't.
guys, what, average over 11 yards per catch yesterday? Six different players.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that Brady did the game, not yesterday, but a couple games ago, said that this offense would be a fun offense to be in. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think he just saying it for the cameras or anything like that. I think they see what the Lions are doing and it's legit. I even see Shannon Sharp even mentioned it yesterday on his show, and he did if them guys, if them any of them guys on ESPN or anything, not saying that we need their approval, but if he's saying it, I mean, it's got to be legit, bro. Them guys ain't they not giving you no credit unless you is eye opening. You know what I'm saying? I think the game against the Cowboys really like, wait a minute, like the everybody kind of knew, okay, the Lions are a good team, but
Even though
wait
they're
a
not even any good though. Yeah.
yeah, right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cowboys
But
stink.
it's just the
Everybody knows
cachet they
that,
give
but
them.
yeah, exactly. So I think this week was. And I was looking at our resume. Think about it. You play the Rams week 1. Rams, and we think the Rams are a viable team. They 2-4. I think they're about to get they feet up underneath them and make a run here. I think the Rams are better than 2-4. You know what I'm saying? We beat the Cardinals. I don't think the Cardinals are that great, but going out to Arizona, it's an easy game to lose. You know what I'm saying? If you're an East Coast team, you go to the West Coast, some weird stuff
Yep.
happened like it always does, and we would normally lose that game, right? So then you beat Seattle. You come back, destroy the Cowboys, and then you beat. We win the game yesterday against Minnesota. So I mean, we got some good wins on our belt, man. You know what I'm saying? I think we've played a game and we've dominated. I mean, man, really in the Tampa game, I think we did some good things. It was just Tampa. We was 1 for 6 in the red zone or something like that. So
Yeah, 1 for 7.
yeah, and our
Yeah.
defense was all right. You know what I mean? Baker Mayfield, I mean, he was all right, but like you said, the second half of that game, it was like he didn't really do much. You know what I'm saying? So that's a testament to
Yeah.
Aaron
I mean,
Glenn and
it
you
happens to the
know,
best of them. The best teams in the league have a game to get away from them. And that game got away from us. We had no business losing that game. We dominated in time of possession,
yeah,
pass yards, rush yards. We dominated everything. Marched up and down the field and just couldn't close out the deal in the red zone.
yeah. Yeah, and this week, Tennessee, it's a game right now. Walt, I don't know if you've seen the number. What the what the what the number is? Did you
I
see it
don't, man.
already?
No, you know what? I haven't seen it yet,
The
but
spread.
we
I
can
just
play
want to
we can
make
play take a guess. I'm gonna look it
yeah.
up though. We can play make a guess. I would
No,
say
I know it. I was just gonna ask you, did you see it so far today?
uh I would guess Lions red hot,
Yeah,
Titans
one
ice
in
blue,
five. Yeah.
uh Levis. Will they even allow Levis to sniff the field? If it's not Levis, it's Mason Rudolph. I'm not worried either way.
Yeah.
Um, I would say they probably disrespected the hell out of Tennessee and probably gave them, I would say, plus 8.5 Titans.
Wow. It's 11 and a half right now.
Really?
That's the spread. Yeah.
Oh
They
man,
Lions are
Vegas messing
11
with
and a
us,
half
man.
point
We
favorites.
gonna mess around and win by a field.
Whew, I would stay away from that game, bro. Even
Vegas
though the
trying to
Lions,
jinx us, man.
yeah, that's telling you right there how like Vegas feels about the Lions right now. You know what I'm saying? They feel like they're a machine, bro. You know what I'm saying? That they can't be messed with right now. At home, like you said, 5-1. Clearly the leaders of the NFC. You know what I'm saying? They totally think Tennessee gonna get mollywop when they come here. You know what I'm saying? Which I think the Lions gonna win, but man, I won't have the
Oh, we
nerve
gonna
to.
get into it, but
Yeah, we get into it on
it ain't as
on
in depth
Saturday.
as this Minnesota week was.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't see it, man. I don't see this team laying the egg like that. Now, could they
Nah.
come back home? We gonna get into the game later,
Yeah,
but
we get into
no,
it. We get into it. We get
I
into it.
wanted to go through a few more stats, man, because I
And
think this is
Ivan
a
Pace
testament.
Jr. Yeah, that was my
Yeah,
guy, Ivan Pace. I wanted the Lions to take him, man. Ivan Pace is a ball
yeah.
player for the Vikings, man. I just want to put that out there. He a really good
Yo,
player,
he is
man.
undersized linebacker. Teams
Hmm.
couldn't figure out whether he was gonna be a safety or a linebacker. It
Yeah.
felt like he wasn't good enough in coverage to be a safety. He wasn't big enough to be a linebacker. He proved to be a hybrid of both, and he's a damn good player for the Vikings. So
He seemed like
shout
he
out to the
gained some
Vikings for
weight.
drafting well. I will say that.
Didn't he
Yeah,
seem
he
like it
had to
seemed
though.
like yeah, when we was doing the draft shows, he was way smaller than that. I don't
He
know.
was
He
he was what when he was at Cincinnati, I think pace was like 190, maybe
yeah,
210. He was
dude,
between
he gotta
190 and
be.
210.
Yeah, I bet we look him. I bet he around 230 right now. You know what I'm saying? He really done packed the muscle, got
Yeah.
real thick, man. You know what I'm saying? He Ivan Pace a ball player. Really like that. So I just want to put that out there. And then I want to talk about our guy too, while you looking up some stats. Like you mentioned Brian Branch to begin with. Brian Branch is amazing, bro. I mean, amazing. I mean, it just whatever a football player, a defensive player, a guy with a chip on his shoulder, whatever that perfect, if you trying to sculpture in today's NFL the perfect defensive back
Weapon X.
slash yeah, if you just trying to make a guy, you want him to
Weapon
have
X
Brian
Jr.,
Branch
baby.
mentality, man. You know what I'm saying? I think the
Yeah.
coaches that love Brian Branch. You know what I'm saying? He's just in the right place at the right time. Always, he got glue on his hands. He just sticky
Should
with
have
the
been a first
football.
round pick.
Yep.
He would have been a first round pick if coaches knew how to coach and weren't scared away by guys who they felt like didn't run the 4.3 40 and
Hmm.
didn't have the 41-inch vertical and didn't have this and didn't have that. I just think a lot of these coaches out here, man, when they get to the NFL, they're scared off by having to continue to coach. They want players. Well, I do also understand that a lot of these coaches are coaching for their job on a year-to-year basis. So they don't really have time to invest in, grooming these players and growing them. The Lions had a really good situation as a head coach to have a 6-year deal that you walk into and you
Hmm.
have liberties to build your team from the ground up. That's another reason why we so damn good right now is because they didn't come into a situation where they just decided to stick with 15 of Matt Patricia's players and this and that. They cleaned house. They
Yeah.
kept the few dudes that they were supposed to keep, and they grew this locker room literally from the ground up. Everybody knows exactly what the culture is, what their job is, what's gonna fly here, and what's not gonna fly here. Like this team got something really, really special going on right now, man. And I don't think
Hmm.
people really appreciate it around the league. But I did want to say something about this man right here.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was
Money
how bad he was
Montgomery.
injured yesterday. Yeah, I don't know how bad he might have been nicked up yesterday. Didn't really see the ball. I know he didn't see the field again after the fumble. It can be that way sometimes for running backs. I don't think he took it too personal, but the fact that Montgomery had 9 carries, 31 yards, for 116. He had a 45-yard
Yeah.
touchdown. And then even though Montgomery did pretty much nothing in the rushing game, you look at the receiving game. He chipped in with 3 catches for 39 yards. That's a 13-yard average. St. Brown had 8 catches for 112. That's a 14-yard average. Gibbs, 4 catches, 44 yards, 11-yard average. Khalif Raymond, 3 catches, 39 yards, 13-yard average. Tim Patrick, 2
Touchdown.
catches. Yep. Tim Patrick
Yeah.
had 2 catches for 25 yards. That's a 12.5-yard average. Sam only
Yeah.
had
Love it.
1 catch, big one, 25 yards.
Uh-huh.
Jameson Williams is the only weapon that had no impact on the game yesterday. Like, that's what I think is so special about this team, man, is that when teams have a ton of weapons, usually egos get in the way.
Yeah.
Guys get upset. Why I didn't get my touches this week? And what about my incentives in my contract? And winning this is fine, but I need my money and I didn't have an impact. And guys going out in the locker room, you don't get any of that from this team. Not any of
No,
it.
no,
In a
no.
way,
I
and
think
what we just everything. Hold up, and one more thing before I could give it off to you. Even if you don't have success that one particular week, everything I just read off could be lopsided next week against Tennessee. Next week
Yeah.
against Tennessee, J-Mo could have 8 catches for 150 in the touchdown, and St. Brown out the blue might be the
Mhm.
guy with 4 catches for 33 yards. It's hard to really run an offense with this much talent
Yeah.
because it's easy to get unbalanced. It's easy to fall in love with Jameson Williams being out there on the perimeter. It's easy to fall in love with a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's a catch machine. It's easy to fall in love with getting Jahmyr Gibbs involved and Montgomery and having a potential Pro Bowl tight end and Sam Laporta and having an athlete like Penei Sewell out there at tackle who can get out the space and do different things. Like, this is special. I think this is something very special that people are seeing right now, man. I know some people are worried about a letdown from Tennessee. People who are worried, who are those worry birds, though, every week, it
Mm.
doesn't matter who we beat and how much we beat them by. Yeah, I mean, we 11-1 right now, but I don't know. Buffalo look kind of hot, right? It's gonna be those people
Yeah.
that are waiting on that other shoe to fall, man. I just think that maybe, just maybe, I don't know if you agree with me on this. Maybe we're the boogeyman this year.
Hmm. No,
Lions
no. I
fans are so caught up in, oh, but Frisco might get hot and they might catch us. Oh, the Eagles, they might catch us. Did it dawn on any of these Lions fans or anyone else across the world that maybe, just maybe, the Lions are the only really good team in the NFC and everybody else is flawed as hell?
yeah.
Because if you asking me, I think after us, Green Bay, and we can get into this later, we do the NFC walkthrough show. You can make the argument Green Bay is probably the second best team.
Yep.
And I
I do.
give them the nod over Minnesota because they have the better quarterback.
I do. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I think that's a good point. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, I look at it like, this team, the way, this season has played out. Like you said, I really believe they've established the point. Okay, you had to first learn how to win, right? And I think that they did that last year. Well, 2 years ago. Well, I think, like I said, the 9-8 season they didn't make the playoffs, but I thought it was key because they had some games at the end of that season where they beat the Jets on the road. Say what you want, the Jets might have not been good, but they still kind of had to learn how to win a game on the road like that. You know what I'm saying? They remember they beat the Packers. What I keep referencing that game because I thought that was a huge turning point to this whole regime and
Remember when
to,
people thought we was gonna lose that game to the Giants, and we handled the Giants that year
yeah,
too.
yep, took care of the Giants. Yep, all in that one season. Then last year they had to learn how to just take games, complete games, ultimately win the division. And like you said, now they've been in the NFC Championship game. They've established themselves as a legit team. Now it's just going out there and just knowing that you better, and the other team next across from you can't stop you, or it's nothing they can do. It's all about what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? We dictate everything. And I think now we're to the point to where we do. Montgomery runs hard. I'm glad you put him up. Inspired ball. All it just seems like he's the catalyst, and I think that they're very smart sometimes when they get Montgomery in the game involved early because it just seems like it energized the whole team, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I think he runs inspired. You know what I'm saying? He runs
Mm-hmm.
hard. He just like, man, you're not gonna be able to play on the field with this guy if you just like trying to lollygag and give him an arm tackle. There's no way you're gonna tackle Dave Montgomery with an arm. Him being not in the game, I don't think that was a big deal at all. I don't think like he was being benched because he fumbled the ball. I just thought that Gibbs had the hot hand. They do that from time to time anyway. Like series, they go by series. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes we see Money Montgomery in there for 2 series, and then after Money Montgomery go out, Gibbs come in. You know what I'm saying? Gibbs get a couple series. You know what I'm saying? He fumbled the ball. I don't think that they was like punishing him or nothing
He
like
ain't get
that.
another carry, did he?
Yeah, but I just thought that
No,
Gibbs
I
was the
know,
guy. He had it
but we
going.
see
You
it.
had to
Yeah,
give it, and they did. They made the right choice. You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah.
ultimately, Gibbs hit that hit that parlay too, because remember Gibbs needed 40 yards. He hit that last play, dude. Gibbs ran. It was almost like Gibbs knew he
This
needed
man
40
got the
yards.
money for y'all, boy.
Hell yeah, Gibbs got 25 before that field goal, dude. And Gibbs played great yesterday. It was
He
just
did.
he just showed like why he,
They
and
selfless,
but
man. Like this is a real selfless football team. I think they can sniff the Super Bowl too. There's something I
yeah.
can't really speak for like basketball players, baseball players, hockey players. I think it's so much of a going to war type of mentality in football and going to, say you go back to high school, you got, camp over the summer and we all got to go through these tour days together in the 94-degree heat and we sharing water together and we eat together, we wake up together in the morning, we do our morning runs together. There's so much camaraderie in football and these football players go through so much together to the point that when you got a damn good football team and you can sniff the Super Bowl,
Mhm.
this team plays every Sunday like, no, we better than y'all. We on a mission. They not playing around with
Mhm.
nobody. People may get mad and say, oh yeah, well, we barely beat Minnesota. We're allowed to barely beat Minnesota. Minnesota's a good football team.
Mhm.
Just because we didn't go on the road and beat Minnesota by 10 like I thought we would, and we had the opportunity. When it was
Yeah.
28-17, I'm like, man, what if the game end like this?
Yeah, you text
At
me right away. Yeah, you text right
28-17.
away. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I had some Vikings fans, man. They tried to go at us a little bit on the avenue in the comment section. And, I had to let them know, look, why is it that whenever we win a game and we get happy and we support our team, we always homers?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
One
that's
one one
natural.
person in the comment section called us arrogant. How dare we just feel like we're gonna just beat Minnesota? And how did you guys feel that you just gonna just beat us and it's not right and you guys just got good and you're one dude called us impoverished.
Mhm.
You're an impoverished
Right.
franchise that just
Yeah.
got good. So that's what
Yeah.
you did. But that's what they do when they can't beat you and they can't explain why you so good. They don't want to admit why you so good. They throw your past in your face. Well, man, 1997 and
Yeah.
in
Well, I had the same thing.
2012 and
Yeah, I had the same thing. Minnesota guy came at me and was just like, this, that, and the third, really upset. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, like the Lions just got good. How dare you say
how
what you're
dare y'all
saying?
have
Y'all
confidence?
y'all never won a Super Bowl. And I said, bro, y'all have lost 4 Super Bowls.
That's
Y'all
what I
haven't
had to
won
tell one
y'all
Vikings
haven't
fan
won either. You know what
like
I'm
y'all
saying?
talk like y'all the Packers or something.
Yeah. It's like y'all haven't
Like they
won.
got at
Them
least they got rings. They got
yeah,
titles. Like y'all talk like y'all really I don't know, man. And I don't want to insult the Vikings fans. This is only a certain few.
yeah, yeah. Of course.
The
Viking
overall
fans,
Vikings
cool.
fans, they were great. The Seahawk fans were great. When they, what I'm saying, when they chimed in, the Cowboys fans that called in, they were great. But you
Mhm.
always get those hardcore fans that feel like if you're confident in your team against their team, you know what I'm saying, you disrespected their team. It was no disrespect to Minnesota. We gave Minnesota a lot of big ups in that last video. But we all
Yeah,
shared the same attitude. We all said the same thing. Your defense is great. Your defense coordinator is great. We love your head coach. We love your offense. We love your receiving core. We don't trust your quarterback.
yeah,
That's not disrespect. Dude
yeah,
said I disrespected Sam Darnold by calling him average. If you don't think Sam Darnold is average, then what the hell do you think he is? Like it's being honest about it. Nobody's picking on the dude, but the dude is average, and that's being nice.
yeah, yeah. And then too, I mean, and for me, I can't do nothing but shoot it straight, right? Because it's like I haven't had a game yet where I felt like it may be the Green Bay might be the first game where I'm a Lions guy where I might say the Lions could lose this game. You know what I'm saying? I haven't said it yet because I think they beat every, you know what I'm saying? They were favored in every game they play. And remember, I told you that 5-0. I expected them to be 5-0 coming out of the bye, 4-0, and then play the Cowboys, that type of thing at the beginning before I knew Cowboys wasn't shit. But you know what I'm saying? It's like now I Green Bay is the only team I see right now that's on our schedule that can say that we ain't got to play the Ravens, we ain't got to play the Chiefs at least until the Super Bowl if that
Yeah,
happens. You know what I mean?
definitely.
You looking at Jacksonville, Indy, Chicago twice, obviously Green Bay
My boy
twice.
AR was 10 for 24 yesterday and
Who?
won. Anthony Richards
Oh
was
yeah,
10 for 24, man, and
yeah,
won.
yeah, one. It showed
And
you
won.
that our quarterback, talk about elite play. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. That's what kind of quarterback play is winning these games. You know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily have to throw for 3 bills. I mean, the guys that kind of look to me like in midseason form is like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Even CJ Stroud hasn't been that great as he was last year. I mean, I like CJ Stroud, but he's been kind of off compared to last year. You know what I'm saying? Not on the same torrid pace. Jordan Love seemed like he hitting his stride at the right time. So, you know what I mean? And obviously Jared Goff. And Jared Goff has played better, I think, than a lot of the league. I think the only thing couple quarterbacks. I was saying it today. A couple friends of mine. Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Those are maybe the two guys. If you want to put them guys ahead of Golf right now, I'll argue with you, but I would let you have your time. But I think Golf has played just as good as those guys. Only thing you can say is Josh Allen was amazing. He hasn't thrown an interception this year. Josh Allen 12 TDs, no picks. I couldn't believe it because
Yeah.
somebody told me that and I had to look it up. Like, damn, he ain't threw no interception. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? In six games to not throw at least one interception. So the quarterback play this year, we got one of the elite ones. You know what I'm saying? I can't say that. I see one of our listeners said the same thing. I'm very comfortable with Jared Goff moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Remember the question was we did our golf shows and people's calling us golf
Yeah.
haters. Remember that? And now I'm just telling you now. See, I told y'all every season got its own entity. Every season has situations that present itself, and now I think we're in a different situation than we were 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Where it was like nah, the Lions are good, but man, they ain't that good. Oh, okay, the Lions are okay, but they not like Super Bowl ready now, bro. A lot of stuff has happened. A lot of teams done folded. We seen the Aaron Rodgers thing not working out. We didn't see some other team like Washington, that's kind of got to get to, they got to learn how
Yeah.
to
They got a
win.
lot of work to do.
Yeah, they got,
They trending in the right area because they got a quarterback. Like,
Philly. I mean, Philly thing to me. I mean, you pointed Philly out.
oh,
I've been hanging on to the Eagles for about 2 years, but you told me last year when they was winning, it was still some issues on that team. And even though they won yesterday, man, it just the Eagles just they look beatable to me. They don't look like a juggernaut team that we overmatched against. I mean, I think if we played the Eagles, the Lions would smash the Eagles. It doesn't matter if we played them in Philly or Detroit. I just think it's very few teams that can match up with us right now. You know what I'm saying? And that's a good thing. Now, could it change? Maybe. You know what I mean? But I don't see with the schedule we have. I don't see it. You know what I mean? Right off the bat. So
one more player I want to discuss. Kind of polarized yesterday. Left the game a couple times with a couple nagging injuries. But
yeah,
so Josh
yeah.
Pascal, as I understand that he's not. First of all, we got to get out of this mind frame that every defensive lineman, Aaron Donald ruined it for defensive tackles. So
Mhm.
we got to get out of this mindset that it's a defensive tackle's job to get 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sacks. Most defensive tackles in the NFL, they're at least in this day and age, the NFL is not the way it used to be back in the day where you big guy nose tackle, you three tech, you edge. Like now, most of these guys are rotational guys. Like it's hard to find the Chris Joneses and the Jeffrey
Mhm.
Simmons and the Quentin what's the name for the New York Jets? The defensive tackle for the Jets,
Quentin Williams.
Quentin Williams, like those guys. Those type of guys don't just grow on trees. Most guys are DJ Readers and Grady Jarrett's. Like they're defensive tackles that provide value in the middle of the defensive line. And Josh Pascal, I think, is a guy who he's probably going to be a Lion for a long time. For one, I think they really like him. They value his versatility. He's a team first guy. He's a lunch pail guy. He's going to come to work, and Pascal's going to do everything that they ask him to do. Now, is he going to make any big time flashy plays? No. But is
Yeah.
he a guy that can make the big time stop, the run stop on 3rd and 3? Can he get that one key pressure later on in the fourth quarter against that one guard that he matches up well against? Yes. He's a chess piece that I think they really value, and they're going to keep him around and utilize him a lot.
Yeah. I agree. You know, the Josh Pascal thing is it could work. You know what I mean? When he knows, maybe only thing I don't think I would question is like why now? Like the reason why obviously it's more time, it's more snaps because you don't have Aiden Hutchinson right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's why. But to me, it just seemed like he had almost fallen out of favor with coaching staff. I mean, I could be wrong by saying that. I don't know. Maybe they're trying this one last ditch. Could it be, maybe he could be trade bait. I'm just putting it out there. Maybe if somebody that we're trying to get wants another young player, maybe he's the guy that might be thought of, you know what I mean, and give him some run out there. You know what I'm saying? Let people see what he can do, that type of thing. But I thought Josh Pascal was good yesterday, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he noticeably was in causing some havoc, pushing his man back, a couple times where I noticed, you know what I mean, just making some plays out there. Like I said, he did get dinged up a couple times and had to be helped off the field, but he came back both times. And I thought, just the combination, it's a group effort. I mean, I don't think he's an individual one man wrecking crew by himself, you know what I'm saying? But I do think with a combination of things, that's why I think this team is so hard to beat, Wall. And I think that because, it's not one guy. You know what I mean? It's ironic that we're saying this about this team that, you know, all of our Detroit teams in different sports, it's been kind of the same way. It's like, okay, the superstar thing is good, but for us, it seems like it's got to be a group lunch pail, blue collar effort. You know what I'm saying? By everybody, and I think that this team is taking that approach, especially on defense. You know what I'm saying? But my worry is, it's going to be maybe some times where we're not scoring 35. Well, you know what I'm saying? We might be in a rhythm, our rhythm might be off for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? The running game might be getting stopped for whatever reason. And you got 17 on the board in the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? And we may need the defense to make some plays and make something happen. Now, I do think once the ball leaves the quarterback's hands, gets to our secondary, I'm more than confident. I think this year, bro, last year, remember we was like, oh man, anybody
Yeah, I
that
mean,
can make
they not giving up stupid plays. That's the whole
yeah,
thing. Like the plays they give up, you look at like, damn, big play by Jefferson. He just made a good play. Dang, Godwin just made a good play. Like, it's not like we out there old school Lions, like we the Washington Generals in the
yeah,
secondary and balls bouncing, footballs bouncing off a helmet and guys losing guys in coverage. It's not none of that silly stuff. I think it's
yeah,
situations where wide receivers are making plays.
yeah, man, and you're right. And then I think when teams get the ball on us, we hurting these boys. Remember when we was at the game, we seen it firsthand. Remember when DK Metcalf get the ball, he got held, like, you know what I'm saying, like I forgot who it was, might have been Kirby Joseph. Somebody made the play initially, hit him at point of contact, held that boy down, and Jack Campbell came and just knocked the snot out of him. You know what I'm saying? I just think that they have a different mentality now. I think on defense, I think they trying to make plays. They trying to strip that ball. You know what I'm saying? They trying to, cause some confusion. Well, Aaron Glenn is disguising some things and making, Brian Branch just more accessible on every play. Like Remember?
Everything's working for them right now. You don't see anybody on the sideline arguing with nobody about no blown assignments and this and that. Like
No,
everything's working for them.
no, no. Remember, it was Greg Olson pointed out yesterday. He said, "Listen," he highlighted Brian Branch. He goes, "Brian Branch is 13 yards down the field before the ball is snapped. The minute the ball is, I think it was Ty Chandler had the ball, got the handoff, and did Brian Branch just met that boy after 1 yard, bro. He got 1 yard, and Branch was there with his face mask in the dirt, dude. You know what I'm saying? It was like that. That's the difference between last year and this year. I think they confident now. These boys know like where they supposed to be. You know what I mean? Think it was learning
Well,
experience.
yeah. They feel
You
like
know,
they supposed to win these games.
yeah. Yeah, that's all coaching. That's all getting that mentality from day one. You got to be, dude. You got if you come from a little like Josh Pascal, come from Kentucky, they weren't winning no hell of a games like that, man. In Kentucky, you know what I'm saying?
Nope.
Maybe Gibbs, you know what I'm saying? Brian Branch, those guys. Brian Branch didn't play on that great of a Bama team I can remember, but he was there. But some of these small college guys, Michael Rodriguez from Oklahoma State, you know what I mean, that you can remember, Sam Laporta played at Iowa. I mean, you got some guy, maybe Taylor Decker had a good college, where they were really good and didn't have a lot of losses. But
Ohio State.
I remember that Aaron Glenn told these guys, man. Remember on Hard Knocks, he told them, he said, listen, a lot of y'all ain't never lost this many games in y'all life. You know what I'm saying? From high school to college. And you got to be taught, man,
Yeah.
to, you know what I'm saying, to be. And I think they've done a good job as a coaching staff to instill that with these guys, man, because I don't think nothing phased them, man. To be in that environment yesterday will show one thing before we get out of here. I just want to say, I thought from, Jared Goff, you know, getting through, like it could have been easy for him to fold. He pack up the 10 after 10 nothing deficit. You know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, how many guys,
I would hope not.
you know what I'm saying? But it could have been easy
Golfing
for
gave
him in
up.
that environment to throw it, to try to do too much, right? You down 10 nothing,
Oh, if he was a sucker,
and,
yeah.
and try to overthrow, try
Yeah.
to do too much, try to force a ball, pick six. You know what I'm saying? Just try to do too much, and he doesn't. He goes by the shit, and that's what Greg Olson was saying numerous times that he's good. Jared Goff goes by the
E.
script. You know what I'm saying? Yo, what's up, E? Yeah, I know Walton put on his
Yeah, he's playing
frame.
quarterback at a real high level, man.
Yeah, Walton put his frames on me tonight, so he looking like you looking like remember remember my man on oh man, what's the man Charlie Sheen? Remember the movie they played for the Indians?
Oh man, no,
Wild thing.
I ain't got the
You
tape
look like
all on my
Wild
glasses
Thing, but
now. You talking about
you
Major
the
League?
you the black version of Wild Thing.
This man just called me the black version of Charlie Sheen, man.
Oh man.
minus the
Yeah, yeah.
snow.
John Rocker. You got the Atlanta Braves, John Rocker. Oh man.
Oh, I can't be Rocker either, man. Rocker had his dirt too.
Okay, let me see. What's the name of Tigers closer?
Ray Vaughn.
Jose Valverde. Remember Valverde? Remember the
With
Tigers?
the big potato.
Remember the Tigers would put Valverde in. We would be up 6-1 in the ninth. Put Valverde in. We
Man,
win 6-5, bro. 6-5. He give up 4 runs.
you hear this? E, this not this man then call me an overweight closer now.
Oh man.
Oh man, you know what though? I will, like I said, we all
Ugh.
being at 5-1, I think is damn good. I had a feel it's just the Chiefs undefeated for their own various reasons, but it's hard, I think, with so much parity in this league to start 5-1, regardless of who you started 5-1
Yeah.
against. You know, like I said, we everyone here in Detroit feels like we gave that game away to Tampa. Most of us feel like we should be 6-0. But at the end of the day, man, you should be what your record says you are.
Yeah.
So we 5-1. We had one game where we kind of sleepwalked a little too long
Yeah.
and we gave it away to Tampa. I also tell people it's very difficult to beat a team 3 times in a row. We beat Tampa twice last year, and both games were pretty close. Um, Tampa was due to get one over on us.
Mm-hmm.
I say the same thing about the Rams. For the Rams to play us as tight as they did those 2 games last season, it's difficult if we ran across the Rams again in the playoffs. That's one thing I would be fearful of, is like playing a team 3 times in one season, or playing a team like the Rams where you played them twice last
Mm-hmm.
year. Well, we ain't even playing twice last year. We played them in the
Yeah,
playoffs, then we played them at the
three
beginning of this
times.
season.
Yeah,
So that's kind of what I would be kind of worried about, like playing Green Bay in the playoffs, playing Minnesota in the playoffs, something like that.
I think it's gonna happen, bro.
Tampa
I
too.
think we're on a collision course with the
Green Bay.
Packers. Yup, I think this gonna happen.
Oh, this town they explode. We get Green Bay
Mhm.
here
It's going.
in the
Yep, it's going to
playoffs.
be amazing. I think, and before we get now, let me ask you a question. Now, only reason why I say Minnesota is a playoff team right now is because I had to look at their schedule, and I was looking like, man, the Vikings should win most of their games that got coming left. I think this week is going to be huge. If the Rams win this game, then yeah, I think the Vikings, got some soldiers to do because they like, man, like you said, Sam Darnold is due to have a bad stretch of games, I believe. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that he a, you know, 28, 30 touchdown guy, 7 interceptions, 28 touchdown. I don't think he's that type of guy. I could be wrong. I could be eating my words later, but to me, if I had to just say out, like you said, if you got to pick 2 teams in our division, obviously the Lions going to make it, and it's proof that they're going to make it. And then Green Bay, over the Vikings. I think Green Bay, like you said, is better than the Vikings, but I'm just giving it to them because I think that they have the division. I mean, they have the division. They have the schedule to compensate for what I'm saying, but
One thing I will say about that, though, in contrast to that, is that you're invincible until you're no longer invincible.
uh
Remember how everybody, us included, was talking about Brian Flores' defense the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, and it's impossible to score on them. And look what they did to Aaron Rodgers, and look what they did to this quarterback and that quarterback. Well, it's a copycat league now. We put out the blueprint.
hmm yeah. Yeah, you're right about that. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to it, it's like, uh, yeah, you know what? And yeah, we was talking about it, before you joined, and golf is absolutely in the MVP conversation in my book. We made the comparison. I thought that maybe, uh, Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen was the only two that came to my mind that was playing better. If you want to put Jordan Love in there, I think I didn't put Jordan Love in the conversation because I thought that maybe he missing those couple games. Maybe he's got to work himself into it. And trust me, I mean, if Jared Goff goes out in week 9 when they play when we play the Packers in the next couple weeks, I think that he could really solidify and get the early jump on it. I mean, he's going to have to go out and outplay Love, and when they play the Packers, which is going to be an outstanding game, just like we seen yesterday. I think that game, the NFL going to be kicking themselves. Well, I think it is a 425 slot, so I think it is a good slot for the game. It's not many games going on when we play, and when it comes down to it, Jared Goff has been just as good. He's been better than Pat Mahomes for sure. That's the guy I always use the measuring stick. He's been better than CJ Stroud, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So it's only a couple guys that's playing just as good as he's been better than Stafford, to me. Definitely, better than Jalen Hurts. You know what I'm saying? It just something don't seem right about the Eagles. I'll talk about them later, but yeah, I'm with I'm right there. I don't know how you feel about it, but I think that Goff should be. He's the early season MVP, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I think it was. I think I know the stats. I don't have them in front of me, but I think I looked. I think it was 13 and almost 1,400 yards. I think it was 10 touchdowns, 4 picks. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. You know what I mean? And it doesn't have to be. I think we've been kind of spoiled or video game mentality where we think a quarterback has to go out and throw for 400 yards a game to be considered the MVP. And this year, look around, it's bad quarterback play around the whole league, man. Thankfully, we got one of the elite guys in the league right now. You know what I'm saying? For every Kyler Murray and Daniel Jones and Spencer Rattler and oh my God, Jameis Winston's playing now for Cleveland. Our division is tight. Our division is locked down with quarterback play. So, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna be used to seeing good quarterback play. You know what I'm saying? It's tough to see Jaden Daniels going down. I love Jaden Daniels the way he's played, this year, CJ Stroud. Trevor Lawrence has been horrible to me. I think Jacksonville's in trouble with Trevor Lawrence. Anthony Richardson, he's been okay. He just needs more reps. He's been all right, but nothing special. Justin Herbert hasn't even been turned. I think I'm watching the game right now. I think they got 7 points. I mean, the Chargers, Jim Harbaugh told Justin Herbert, I'll put you in a headlock or something if you throw 20 times in the game. They got him wrapped up, Walt. They Justin Herbert might be asked for a trade because they ain't even letting him throw the ball, man.
That's
It's
Jim,
crazy.
man.
You know what I'm saying?
That's Jim over there. Y'all,
Yeah.
y'all know what Jim is over there. I don't give a damn if I got Dan Marino. You on a
Yeah.
pitch count. He
Yeah.
don't care. Got Marino out there going 11 for 17.
Yeah. No,
Jim
that's
don't
my boy
care,
Will
man.
Levis. Don't let Walt see that. Don't let Walt see Will talk about Will
What?
Levis.
We talking about
He
Will
said that's your
Levis?
boy. He said Walt
Ill
boy Will
Will
Levis.
Levis? Ill Will Levis?
Yeah.
Ah, man,
Yeah.
dude, it's the mayo and the coffee. Then when I heard
Mhm.
about him eating banana peels, like who the hell eats banana peels, man? But
Yeah,
anyway,
he a different dude, man. Yeah, Lord
yeah.
Lawrence say, yeah, I think Lauren's right. I wanted Brian Thomas, and Walter tell you he vouch for me on that. I wanted
Brian
Brian
Thomas
Thomas.
out there balling.
I wanted him in the draft, bro. I think at receiver, Brian Thomas, that guy. He that guy for real. He the only one that's really making plays. Kristen Kirk, I mentioned him for maybe a trade, and he ain't even is he even playing for the I never even see Kristen Kirk even out there playing for the
I
Jaguars.
don't know, man.
You know,
I don't know. Jacksonville just got so much going on right now. But Brian Thomas is obviously his favorite receiver now,
that's
for
my
sure.
guy. He can play ball, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Before we get out of here, man, we need to cover something real quick.
Hey, what's up, Trey?
Um,
Yo, what's going on?
I'm gonna say this. I was right.
Yeah, you was
Now, I
right.
was right. I was right at the very end.
You sucked that up. You was right.
I was right at the very end, but them
I
boys won.
I got suckered into it because I knew Nico Collins wasn't playing. I just thought that Joe. Shout out to Joe Mixon, another one of my dogs, man.
Yeah.
I like Joe Mixon, and they almost pulled it off. You know what I'm saying? But Green Bay good, man, and them uniforms were so clean they had on. Boy, you see the white? They had the all white with the yellow stripe, dude. Packers were sweet on Sunday yesterday. They had all white with white helmets, and then they had the yellow stripes going down the side. They were sweet. I give them credit, but yeah, yep, you was right on this one. And then yeah, this was an easy one because you knew the Chiefs were gonna go even with less talent at receiver. You just knew that the Chiefs was gonna win, man. To me, I don't take Brock Purdy serious at all. And I think this year is really like an eye opener. Not that I'm blaming it all on him because they got injuries and Ayuk is now down for the season, right? And from what I understand, ruptured his Achilles, but they got the talent. I think the 49ers still going to be there. I don't think that they're going to be a 6-win team this year. I think, the 49ers going to catch fire at the end of the season. They too good to just,
With who?
sit by the wayside and just not.
With
I'm
who
talking about
though?
like everybody else, despite Brock Purdy. You know what I mean? I
I'm
think,
saying like Debo always got a hoodie on the sidelines, and C-Mac pretty much done for the year. And Kittle is their best player, even when everybody else is there. Kittle is their best player. Like when watching that game yesterday, it was
yeah,
frustrating. Like
yeah,
this dude is the biggest, fastest, most athletic overall player on the field, typically Sunday in, Sunday out. I've seen Kittle outrun cornerbacks and safeties for 50, 60-yard plays. Like, how do y'all not make this man the focal point of y'all offense?
Yeah.
It's weird, man, with how they use him in San Francisco. But yeah, people can call it what they want to call it. I think the people out there who still don't want to believe in us, when we smash San Francisco later on in the season, the excuse is going to be, well, yeah, y'all caught Frisco when the window closed. Frisco was old. Frisco was beat up.
Mm,
It's going to be an excuse for everything, everybody that we beat this year. Just be honest about it. I don't see Frisco getting hot. I don't think it's one of those years. You can't bank on that happening so much. Remember, like the last 3 years, they started, saying kind of slow, kind of treading water, suffer through their normal injuries they had, and then out the blue, they just get healthy and catch fire.
yeah.
That ain't happening this year, I don't think. Because, outside of Kittle, their best overall offensive player in C-Mac, everything was built around him. He ain't there. Now, can they still generate a solid running game without him? Sure, but that ain't even really happening that much this year. Ayuk is gone. Debo ain't really a true wide receiver. So who do y'all put y'all eggs in with? Ricky Pearsall? I mean, a rookie wide receiver?
What's a
You
man
gonna
named
force feed the ball to Kittle?
Mason, running back?
Yeah,
Uh,
so it's everything is set up. We are the best team.
yeah, Goriendo.
Everything is set up for us.
Yeah, I like him too, running back. Yeah, I mean, I agree. You know what I'm saying? Because, like you said, them, and think about it. Think about the Rams, Seattle. We beat both them teams already. Arizona, we beat them too. You know what I'm saying? You go to the East, the Cowboys and Giants, Washington. Those teams, Philly. I think the Lions can beat any of those teams, any four of those teams. Then you go to the South. You go to Atlanta, Tampa. We lost to Tampa. You know what I'm saying? New Orleans. We know the Lions would smash the Saints. You know what I'm saying? It, like you said, and just somebody just put it like Lauren
Atlanta.
just said. Our division is where it's at. You know what I mean? I don't think. Remember when Miami was scoring all the points last year, and we was saying like we knew Miami wasn't a juggernaut like that, right? We knew that Miami would come down to earth. Lions beating people the way they beat people, I don't think it's fake. You know what I'm saying? They didn't show that it ain't fake. So, man, the rest of the league in trouble. They didn't mess around and let the Lions just find themselves. Like, can't nobody beat us. Now they got that mentality now. You know what I mean? They not sneaking up on nobody. So they like, okay, if y'all better than us, y'all gotta beat us. You know what I mean? That's how I the Rams game, people was really complaining about that, saying that we didn't have the killer instinct or the second half. Remember, we didn't make the correct adjustments. Third quarter was our Achilles heel. They went out and corrected that. The last game, I think, like you said, when we lost to Tampa, it was just more so we couldn't execute when we needed to in the red zone and lost the game. Now, I'm not taking away nothing from Tampa. They beat us. They came on our field and beat us. So I give them credit for that.
They took advantage.
They
We
took
didn't
advantage.
cash in and they took advantage. I feel the same way about Minnesota yesterday. Like Minnesota kept giving us opportunities.
Mm.
In that last 4 minutes, they just kept giving us opportunities. In that last drive, when we got the ball back, I said it. O'Connell will never see that ball again. And you saw how he was yelling at Darnold on the sideline because he knew we had him and we let him off the hook.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
bet you that's like exactly what they told them in the locker room. Like they had us and they
yeah,
blew the game
yeah,
because their quarterback couldn't get the job done. That
yeah,
last Minnesota possession, when they blew that last play and he got the yelling at Darnold on the sideline, he yelled because he knew it was over. Oh, I
yeah,
done gave these dudes another opportunity to close me out.
yeah,
And it's over. Like Goff wasn't gonna keep blowing possessions, even though he wasn't blowing possessions. But this offense, you can't keep giving Ben Johnson and Jared Goff and the chemistry that he has with all his weapons on the field the opportunity to close you out.
man.
And
But
it
we
just
got
felt like we was the big brothers though. Like these are normally games where it's like, damn, they gave us we had every opportunity to win that game and they beat us.
I'm gonna go back to the drive before we get out of here. I want to see. do we got the play by play, like, you know what I'm saying, like the results by game, by play, like, you know what I'm saying, everything that happened in the game, because I just wanted to see one thing. I thought, like I said, that last drive, I want to know how many plays it took us to get past the 50-yard line. Like, that was incredible how quick that game, like you said, that it was almost like the coach knew that it was curtains, but we didn't waste no time. I mean, well, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know that pass to Jameer Gibbs was like 25 yards, if I'm not mistaken. Remember, he got in a flat and Gibbs got about 25 yards, if I'm not mistaken. It was too easy. It was like they we called the perfect play. Everybody was blocked, and it was like it was perfection, man. And then to get out of bounds like Gibbs did, and then just kind of stay in the middle of the field and set up that field goal, man. And then Dan Campbell, another thing. I think people, um, the last thing I promise before we get out of here, just talk about Dan Campbell as a coach. You know what I'm saying? I think that Dan learning. I really do. I think Dan Campbell showed yesterday. Obviously, it was. I didn't like the fake punt. I didn't like it. I hated that play. I'm glad that we won the game and he made up for it, because I was ready to come off the top rope
Pass out.
on Dan. I was ready to come off the top rope on Dan for that, because we didn't need to do that. You know what I'm saying? Just kick the ball and just let it play out. So, but what I'm saying is, at the end of that game, man, he did what teams do to us. You know what I'm saying? Where we run out of time, or like you said, we don't manage it right, and then they just get the ball and say, "We just playing keep away. Y'all not getting it back." That type of thing. And then
We gave
got
y'all the opportunity. Now y'all not getting it back.
y'all not getting it back. Yep. And it was right play calls and stuff like that. So, shout out to Dan Campbell. I think he's learning on the job, and he's
Yeah.
learning how to be, more, more. I don't want to say,
Game
I don't
manager.
know the correct, yeah, game manager. If you want to say that, yes, you know what I mean. So, and shout out to Jake Bates. I said that Lions would win
Yeah.
on a walk off. Jake Bates, man, was just like, to hear him talk, a little guy come out there, man. And I don't know how many listeners, how many people thought that he was going to miss that kick. Did it cross your mind once that it? I did. I knew he was going to make it, because, like you said, it was kind of close. Man, Derrick Henry run like a man. Tampa getting stomped on, but uh, yeah, I didn't think he was gonna miss the kick. I thought that when it kind of came off his foot funny, though. You know what I'm saying? It kind of
Mhm.
was weird, kind of zigzag type thing, knuckleball. But
You got a pretty
yeah,
good gauge for the temperature of the game too. Like everything to me after that last Vikings possession, it just felt like even when Greg Olson said what he said about I guess us not showing any urgency, I didn't see the point in showing any urgency. You had the timeouts. You know exactly how far you got to get downfield. They obviously had confidence in the kicker. So,
mhm.
given this offense a reliable kicker, that might be the equalizer because that means we don't have to always go for it. If Base can start knocking down, we don't even need 50 because that's the
That
thing.
was
If
44.
we
That was
take
44.
if we take over at our own 25-yard line, we don't need to pick up too much more. I mean, we do need to pick up a significant amount of yards to get in his range, but if he can just be money for us for like 45 to 48,
Hmm.
because I
Yeah,
think offensively we're good enough that we can get him the yards he needs for him to feel comfortable.
yeah.
That's the
And
whole
he
thing.
even said that. He said that too. He said that the offense made it easier for you know what I'm saying, because he goes, the offense put me in that position, and he was like, he recognized that our offense could,
Yeah, as a kicker
get
to
me.
have that type of confidence in your offense come to you and ask you where we need to get the ball to. Do
Mhm,
we need to get it to the 32? Is you comfortable at the 40? Where we need to get it to, and they can actually run plays and get the ball down there for you to get comfortable and make that
mhm.
kick. Man, this team with a reliable kicker,
Yeah, we didn't have that
it's
last
gonna
year.
be
Remember
easy. It's gonna
Riley
be tough to
Patterson?
beat us, man.
We was scared. Remember Riley Patterson? We was scared to, man, like Riley gonna come on. You know what I'm saying? So, like you say,
Yeah.
anything past 40 yards was like, man, it was a crapshoot. Like you said, it's mostly like now. It's different. You know what I mean? Like you said, it's different play calls, it's different, strategies. Because like you said, we know we can go down there and at least get three, but let's you know go this route and see how it work out for us. So yeah, Walt. I mean, if we had to put a bow on this show tonight, I think we seen what we needed to see from this team. And now we sit, not only number one in the NFC North, but we're number one in the NFC because I'm watching Tampa, give up 33 points on their home field. So that don't look like a team, that's better than the
they,
Lions.
they
You know what I mean?
they they
I mean,
taking
I
that
understand.
that Derrick Henry pill.
Yeah, man.
They took the
And
Derrick
I
Henry
had
pill tonight.
and hey, I picked the Bucks. I was a big. You told me the Bucks like not, but I kind of believe in the Bucks a little bit. They beat the line. They kind of showed me something, but maybe it was more of what we didn't do, how they beat us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Maybe it's looking like that because they don't look that great to me either. So
yeah. All right,
yeah,
man. That's another was it week 7? That was week
yeah,
7 wrap up, man. We 5-1. We got the Tennessee Titans coming to town now. Big thing now is to make sure we don't fall into a trap. We mentioned this prior to the season. We thought Jacksonville, Tennessee, even though we didn't think either one of those teams would be good. We did mention Indianapolis Colts having to make that trip to Indianapolis to play them a few days before Thanksgiving, actually 4 days before Thanksgiving. That could also be a situation that could be turn out to be kind of sticky for this team. But to the level that they're playing right now, I just don't see them laying any eggs to any bad teams. That would take bad quarterbacks coming in here to Detroit and beating us. That would take Trevor Lawrence coming here and beating us. That would take not necessarily Josh Allen because Josh Allen's a pretty damn good quarterback, but that would take Will Levis or Mason Rudolph coming here and beating us. That would take us going to Indianapolis and losing to Anthony Richardson. It's a lot of things that would have to happen for us to lose to these bad teams. And I just think, man, Campbell, Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, they've been together too long, man. And this is something else that's also different. You don't see coaching staffs like this too often anymore, where the head coach, the head coach, the OC, and the DC stay together for 3, 4, 5 years at a time.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? The connection is too strong for them right now. The game plans are too tight, and they're making adjustments in the second half too. So I think this team is heading in the right direction, man. So we will be back in a few days to discuss the Tennessee Titans, what to look out for, impact players, coaching matchups, and whatnot. Till next time, it's One Pride.